Hi, Sudhamshu. Hi, Sishri.
Hi, ma'am.
Okay, let's wait for others to join.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, how are you?
Good, ma'am.
Good, good. Okay. So we will wait. We have about 2 minutes left. We'll wait for others to join. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, all of you. So we are going to begin our today we are going to begin history class. Okay. So all of you, just tell me one thing. How do you all find history? Is it boring?
No, ma'am.
No.
History
Who
is
finds
quite
history
interesting.
boring? History is quite interesting. What's interesting about history?
The mistakes they made,
What?
the kind of mistakes or the decisions they made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we often learn from our history. We learn the mistakes that our ancestors have done, what has happened in time back. Hi, Abhinav. Okay. So, Sitri, how do you find history? Yeah, tell me. Subhash, how do you find history?
Ma'am, I find it neither interesting nor boring.
Neither interesting nor boring. But of course, in history, as per my, when history is interesting, but of course we have difficulty in memorizing the dates. When was this happened? When did this happen? When did that happen? But if you take history as a story, okay, like everybody likes stories. Okay, everybody loves like we were in Mr. So once upon a time. Okay, so when we learn history as a story, it is interesting, very, very interesting. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing this time. Okay, we are going to start history. You see my okay, all of you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is once upon a time that I'm going to tell you about. This is about the rise of nationalism in Europe. So like you said, once upon a time there was a king, and then there was his queen. Okay, and then there were his people, there were his kingdom. What happened? Okay, so like all of you all know, there was the kingdom was there. Okay, the monarchs were there, the kings were there, and the royals were there. Okay, and those who were the farmers, or you can say the peasants, right? They were not treated very good, and everybody dreamed of having a free life. So this was what that was always in history. Okay, the poor kept working and working and working, and the rich kept lived a luxurious and high class life. Okay, so when in the starting of this chapter, rise of nationalism for Europe, we see this painting. Yeah, So what is this painting about? This painting is about a dream of the worldwide democratic and social republics. Okay, this is the pact between nations, and it was a print prepared by Frederick Soreau. Okay, Frederick Soreau. He painted this painting. What do you see? Let's see what is in this painting. Okay, now this guy is Frederick Soreau. Okay, he's made this painting in 1848. Okay, like the date here. Okay, now this what does this painting show us? This is the pact between nations. Okay, now if we see here, we see the Statue of Liberty here. Yeah, we see the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, the Statue of Liberty is holding the torch. Okay, and then the Statue of Liberty is holding a torch in one hand, and in the other hand she's holding a book. Okay, so book is the man's right charter. Okay, and on the ground we see that is the broken waste of monarchy, means they have crushed, they dream of crushing the monarch system. Okay, now there is a trail of people who are walking here. Yeah, these are the nations uniting each other. These are the different nations of Europe who are uniting together, and they're walking together hand in hand in unity. Okay, and now as all this is believing, like, in the olden times, everybody was following religion. Yeah, so they believe the gods in the sky are blessing the people at the down, and these are the angels. Okay, the paradise and the angels and God are happy, and they are blessing everybody down. Yeah, so anybody can tell me what is this idea? Who is dreaming of all this? Yeah,
all the nations, like
yeah,
a poor man,
all
like
the poor people, all the poor peasants.
the third estate.
Yeah, this painting is also called the utopian vision. Okay, now these people show the people of Europe and America, men and women of all ages, social classes, marching in long chain, offering homage to the Statue of Liberty, like it is, like the name depicts, right? Liberty. Everybody wants to live a free life. Nobody wants to live like a slave, right? So this painting that Frederick Soreau. Okay, just remember the spelling of his name, right? This French artist, he painted the dream of the people. Okay, so this became very popular at those times. Okay, now if a question comes, they will only ask you, they might give you this painting, and they might ask you to give the details. Okay, so here is the detail. This is showing the men and people of all ages are marching in a long chain, offering homage to the Statue of Liberty. USA and Switzerland, which were already nation states at that time, are leading the processions. Okay, they are in the starting of the line and already passed the Statue of Liberty, while many European nations such as Germany, Austria, the Kingdom of the Two Seychelles, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, Hungary, and Russia were following them. Okay, the other nations are following them. The Statue of Liberty is a female figure who bears the torch of enlightenment in one hand and the charter of the rights of man on the other. What is the rights of the man? This right to freedom, right to expression, right to justice, right to food, right to living, right to dignity, right? So, and next is the Christ and the angels are blessing the people. Fraternity is written above the Christ, which means gods and angels are promoting brotherhood among them. Okay, so all religions are teaching brotherhood among them. This is what is depicted by God. Now, in the foreground, that is on the ground here, in the foreground of the print, shattered remains of the symbols of absolute institutions. These absolute institutions mean the kings and the royals, okay? Presents which show the end of repressive government. End of repressive, these are the government who ruled over the people, okay? Which passes no rights to its people. Okay, so now the first chapter that we are going to be starting in this chapter is the French Revolution and the idea of the nation. So any revolution that has come along after this revolution, the you can say French Revolution is the mother of all revolutions. Okay, even in India, when the revolution was done, the message was the idea was taken from the French Revolution. Okay. Anybody getting bored?
No, ma'am.
All of you are sleeping? No, no. Okay, now this is no bedtime story. Okay, be very serious. Now, the French Revolution, you see the time. The time was 1789. Very old. Okay. What happened? The power transfer came from monarchs to common citizens. The tricolor flag was chosen for France. Okay, now what was the revolution? What was the idea of the nation, right? Now they wanted the transfer of power from the monarch. The king should not be ruling. The power should come to the nation. Common citizens should have the power. And they made a flag for themselves, okay? French language was declared as the national language. Okay, now whenever you study history, you should understand every country and every nation, you can say every dialect, they valued their language a lot. And there were fights because of the language. Okay, see, we both speak the same language, we are brothers. Okay, that person is speaking a different language, he is out of the family, fine, he is out of the community. So this was happening in those times. Now French was declared as a national language. New national anthem was also composed and oaths were taken. State generals were elected and renamed. National Assembly was made. Okay, internal custom duties and duties were abolished. Before, what used to happen, like in because Europe was small nations together, when a person traveled with goods or merchandise from one place to another place, there was customs in every points. Every checkpoints would put a custom on the goods. So what will happen? Ultimately, the merchandise would get so expensive, the merchants used to make no profit out of their product. Okay, so the this was the small minute bullet points, you can say, that of the French Revolution. Okay, so let's start. The French Revolution is significant in the fact that it has marked the end of the institution of absolute monarch, okay, in France, and saw the establishment of republic, liberty, equality, and fraternity. This is what the people fought for, right? Which had become the guiding principles of the French Revolution, also became the foundational values of the French Revolution. So it was not only the French, even in India, when the revolution came, this was what we fought for, right? Liberty, equality, and fraternity, right? The ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity and the establishment of democratic government helped in the spread of nationalism in other parts of Europe. This is not only they were not only fighting on they were also spreading the news. They also wanted other people to follow them. Okay, so the French Revolution declared French as a common language. Marches were celebrated and oaths were taken in the name of the nation. The formal royal standards was replaced by the royal flag was replaced by the French tricolor. All the above measures helped in spreading nationalism in Europe. Okay. So till now, what can you tell me about Frederick Soryu? Sudhamshu?
Can I say?
All of yeah, say.
He had a utopian vision, which he also painted. The the painting depicted all countries hand in hand, like of all classes, paying homage to the Statue of Liberty, which depicted a free world, like everyone's free. There's
Yeah.
no restrictions.
And you want to add
And
something more? Yeah.
fraternity among other people.
Yeah. What was French Revolution all about? Aryan?
Ma'am, it was about a new change, ma'am, in the society. It was a revolution against the monarchy. It
Yeah.
was to give more powers to the citizens, and it was the
Yeah.
first wave of a democracy
Yeah.
and
They
liberty.
wanted absolute, the power should be they want the power to the common citizen. And
And liberty and
yeah, liberty, fraternity, and okay. And what else? Citry,
and equality,
you
ma'am.
tell me, and equality. Yeah. Citry, you tell me, what is French Revolution all about? Speaker, baby. Are you there? Okay, Subhash, you tell me.
it was about abolishing the monarchy system.
Yeah.
It was about equality in all citizens.
Hmm.
Uh, there should be fraternity. Uh,
You see the screen? I have
yes,
also
ma'am.
highlighted. Yeah, say it.
The tricolor flag was chosen for France. French language was declared as the national language. Uh, it was about absolute monarchy. Absolute monarchy. It was about liberty, equality, and fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
The formal royal standard was replaced by the French tricolor.
Mm-hmm.
The French revolutionaries declared French as a common language. Martyrs were celebrated and oaths were taken in the name of the nation.
Okay. You tell me, Aman.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what is this painting about? Who made this painting? Let me show you the painting. Okay. Who made the painting? The Pact of Nation.
Ma'am, uh, the French artist.
What is his name?
Ma'am, I forgot.
Frederick Soriu. What is his name?
FedEx Surya.
All of you say it. Frederick Soriu. So we will not forget. Yeah. Okay. The name of the painting was the Pact between Nation. Okay. So what do you understand about this painting? Tell me, Aman.
Ma'am, I understand that the at the time all nations were um all the people of different nations were against the absolute monarchy.
Yeah. Okay. And what did they want?
Yes, ma'am.
What did they want? They didn't want.
They wanted to get more power
Okay. They wanted more power. And
to abolish the
so what
monarchy.
happened? So what happened in the revolution? When the revolution came, what changes happened?
The monarchy was abolished.
Yeah, the power was shifted from monarch to the common citizen, and the tricolor flag was made, right? And
French was declared as the national language in the French Revolution.
Yeah, and
What's what
they
they get?
made their national anthem. Okay, they made a national assembly, right?
Yeah.
And in the main thing that happened, see, for anything, economic growth is the main point, right? So when a person grows, the nation develops, right? So for that, what happened? What is the main point that they took was the internal custom duties and duties were abolished, right? When a person moved from one place to another, he was first the royals, or you can say the monarchs, they imposed duties on everything, right? You are working still and you have to pay duties to the royals. The royals are doing nothing and they were collecting money from all the peasants, right? So this was abolished, and because of this they felt liberated, they felt free. Okay, so the most important phase in the French Revolution was the Civil Code of 1804, or you can also call this a Napoleonic Code, or this was by Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay, now everybody started thinking, you can say everybody started praising Napoleon Bonaparte. Why? Because he was, wherever he went, he abolished the monarch, right? So most of them, what happened, wherever his armies attacked, the people welcomed him instead of fighting against him, against his repression. They welcomed him. Okay, so the French armies began to carry the idea of nationalisms aboard. They went with, everybody began to hear stories about what is happening in France, and they dreamt of doing that happening in their nation also. And in 1799 enters the reign of Napoleon Bonaparte. That is very important. Uh, who removes democracy, takes all control. He brought in a special code. Okay, so the French Revolution, what happened? It was the people, it was the nation of the people. Now, when Napoleon comes, he again finishes all democratic rules, and every power comes to in his own hand. He was the sole decider. Now, monarch is also not there. The people is also not there. Who is making rules? Who is powerful? Only Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay. So what was this civil code that he did? He established equality before law. Okay. Before this, all were not equal. The church and the nobles were given superior privileges. Okay. Now, see, he secured the right to property. Okay. Before, what happened? No matter what happened, a common man could not own a land. Right. The land were always owned by the monarch or the nobles. He abolished the feudal system. Okay, before, the landlords made the peasants work and collect all the profit. The poor peasants got no margin at all. Okay. Or you can say no margin, or you can say very low margin. So this was the feudal system. The peasants had to work for them. They had to also give them their produce. They also had to do labor also for them. Okay, now transport and communication systems were improved during the Napoleon times, and now development was growing. Because of transportation and communication, economic growth was happening there. Now, standardized weights and measures in common currency. So what happened whenever there was a person traveling with merchandise to one place to another? What happened? There was how would you somebody impose tax on you? Okay, now if we measure liters, or we measure weight in kilograms, or we measure length in yards. Okay, so what happened? There would be different measures in different countries, in different nations. So it was sorry, so it had become very difficult for people to move around, and for me and for people to pay. So because of this, taxes had become a lot, and there were different measures of currency. Okay, now, like in India we have Indian rupees now, and if you go to another place, there is another there is an Sri Lankan rupee, and then there is an Bangladesh rupee. Okay, so the exchange rates were always different for all. So this was also a big problem. So Napoleon Bonaparte, he had reformed the measures of these. And he stopped the currencies, and now only one currency was there. Right? So guild restrictions were also removed. Okay, so guild restrictions were removed. Now merchants and artisans could trade freely. So whenever you talk about, whenever the question arises about Napoleon Bonaparte, you have to just, this is I made these bullets so that you could remember. Okay, there was, so everything was not all good about Napoleon. There were flaws in his code. So what were the flaws? Let us understand. So there was a lack of political freedom. He had control over all his own. He was kind of destroying. He was inclined on destroying his rivals. Okay, so there was increased taxation. People thought now the monarchy taxes are gone, but now Napoleon was imposing tax on for himself. And third was censorship. Okay, nobody could say anything against Napoleon. Nobody, and there was forced conscription into the French armies. Okay, now this was the main point, main problem why people began to go against him, because he forced people to enter the army and to fight for him, right? The main problem was the forced conscription into armies, as Napoleon wanted to conquer the whole of Europe. Okay, let us start the making of nationalism in Europe. Okay, now in the mid 18th century, there was no nation state inside Europe. Okay, there was not, what was communities were divided among common language, common culture, and common identity. The identity was how, because by the language and by the culture. So now, like, so there was the state, like we had states here. At present we have nations and countries. It was not the scene, this was not the scene in the 17th century or the 18th century. Okay, now in the mid 18th century there was no nation state inside Europe. So like you see in the map, it was divided into communities, okay, and common languages. For example, let us take Habsburg Empire. There lived different types of people. Their ideas, culture, tradition, and languages were all different. Even after all this diversity, they wanted a nation state. Why? One common thing, they were all harassed by the monarch. Okay, although they were of different communities and different languages and different culture, they all wanted one nation state. Why? Because they were all harassed by the monarch. Okay. So the example of Habsburg is there. Their ideas, culture, tradition, and language all were different, but they wanted a nation state because they wanted to be free from the monarch system. Okay, now let us talk about the categories of people that were there at those times. So the first category was the aristocrats. Now these were the wealthy people of society. They owned the states, townhouses in countryside. Socially and politically, they were powerful. Okay, their families connected by marriage ties, and they spoke French, and they were united by the common way of life. They lived a very luxurious life. Next was the peasants. They comprised of the majority of the people. Okay, they were the poor people of the society. They didn't have much land, and some were even landless. They were a majority, and they had no power at all. Now, sorry. as the age of industrialization and print developed, we got a new class that was the middle class. Now, this class was learned, they were educated. Okay, so these people were neither rich and nor they were very poor. Fine, they were executed, they were educated, and they comprised of the businessmen, the industrialists, and the professionals who had the money, and but they were still not able to they were not able to live the life of the aristocrats. Why? Because they were not from the royal blood, you can say, from the monarchs, or they were not the aristocrats. Okay, they were still looked down upon by the aristocrats. So what happened? These were the people who started the revolution. Okay, now what was liberal nationalism stand for? We will, before discussing this, do you people understand till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Although, yeah, although like if I ask you for an example of Hamburgsburg, although their languages and their culture and their tradition were different, yet they wanted a nation. Why? Yeah, Aryan?
Ma'am, what was the last thing you said, ma'am?
Yeah, although like the people in Europe, right? They were divided into different cultures. They were divided into different dialects. You can say, you can, they were in different communities. Still, all of them, they encourage the idea of a nation state. Like the nation state means there should be election, there should be freedom, and there should be equality in justice, and there should be freedom and all that. So they all wanted it. They agreed into this. Why did they unite to be, they all united to become a nation?
Ma'am, to
What was
end,
the reason for that?
ma'am, to end like conflict, ma'am, social conflict on one side.
They
Can
were
we say like
all,
idea of nationalism and equality?
Ma'am, they
yeah, they
wanted to
want,
abolish the monarchy system.
yes, they wanted the monarchy system be abolished. Yes, very good. So they all wanted freedom. Although they were different. This is what happened in India also, right? India was also a land of diversity, right? There were different religions, different cultures, different traditions, different languages, different food, different dresses, everything. Yet everybody united together to fight for the freedom of the nation. Why? Because we wanted the British rule to end. Fine. So this is the same one. They wanted the abolishment of monarchy system. Okay, now after even after the French Revolution, what happened? Napoleon again came back, right? So Napoleon came back. What happened? What is the Napoleon Code? You have to learn these bullets. Okay, let me show you. Let us revise this again. Yeah, this Napoleon Code, that is, going to say, the Civil Code of 1804. The main point was during the Napoleon time, the France had developed a lot. And what is the reason for the development? Was standardized weights, measures on common currency. He developed transport and communications. Okay, this led to development, and he abolished monarch system. So what happened? People began started to sing praise of him, right? He's a very good man. He is freeing us from the monarchy. But they had no idea of what he was actually doing. He was not in favor of democracy. He wanted to the power, all the power in his own hand, right? And what he did, he gave no political freedom. Nobody else could stand up and give a speech. Nobody else could hold a procession. Okay, he put censors on books, he put censors on processions, he put censors on everything, and he increased taxation to make his money, right? The fourth and the most point, because of people began to dislike him, was his forced conscription into the French armies. He wanted to conquer the whole of Europe. He wanted to become the, he wanted, you can say, he wanted to become the king again, right? after his people were thinking that he was trying to free them, but he was kind of a taking over their own, taking over their nations. Okay, so what do you tell? Who can tell me about Napoleon Bonaparte?
I'm a great dictator.
He was kind of great dictator, yeah.
And a
What
modernizer.
was the benefits of a Napoleon Code?
Ma'am, uh, he uniformized the system, ma'am, and removed like complications, ma'am.
Ma'am, he abolished the feudal system. He secured the right of property. He
Hmm.
standardized weights and measures and the common currency. Guild
Yeah,
restrictions were removed.
guild restrictions were removed. These were the good points that he had done. Okay, and also there was, like I told you here, he established the equality before law. Okay, before it was what if you are a poor peasant, no matter what happened, what crime happened against you, there was no punishment, right? So, and also he gave the right to property, and he abolished the feudal system, right? So he kind of finished the monarch, but there was a drawback to his Napoleon Code. And what are the 4 points in the Napoleonic drawbacks? Tell me, somebody.
Ma'am, it was dictatorial.
Yeah, there was lack of political freedom.
And
He
ma'am,
increased taxation, censorship.
they were forced to join the army
They were forced to join the army.
against
Yeah.
their will.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Sichri, are you there? I don't know where she is. She's not answering at all. The entire class. Okay. Everybody is clear about the Napoleonic Code?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now what made them the nation state? This I told you, although they were different, they didn't have common language, they didn't have common culture, yet they wanted a different nation. Why? Because they wanted the abolishment of the monarch. Okay. Now, let us talk about the society over there. Like I told you, there were the monarchs were there. There were the aristocrats. Okay, then there were the peasants. Now, as education and industries and print culture had risen, the middle class, the new class had come up. That was the middle class. Now, this middle class, they began to put up questions. Okay. So as they began to pick up questions, there came the liberal nationalism. Okay, so now what do we understand by the liberal nationalism? Okay, these were the liberals were the middle class people. Okay, they were the middle class people. Now, what did they want? They want the end of the aristocracy rules. Okay, they wanted a government with people's agreement, like they should be voting system. Now, freedom of individual, equality before law, and of clerical privileges. Okay, a constitution and representative government. Okay, everybody, even the poor peasants, they all wanted this. Okay, but it was all a dream. Why? Because you needed someone who was with mind to put this all into written black and white, right? They wanted somebody to written. Okay, so the liberals came up for that. They stood up forward, okay, to sorry. Yeah. Okay, so they came up and they put in they wrote the constitution. Okay, they made the rules. Now they made all they did all the working out on papers. Okay, well, what happened? What did they do? They left out the women and they left out the landless men. Okay, so what happened here? There was no right to vote for women, and there was no right to vote for the men who had no land. Okay, so what happened? Because of this, these two, they backed out, right? When there is no okay, now when they didn't have any they didn't represent anything in the constitution, they didn't have anything in the National Assembly. So what happened? They backed out and they just sat down quiet and they took no part into the revolution. Okay, so now they went on. What happened? They went on protest. Another problem was faced by the traders that they had to pay heavy tax. Okay, in case they moved from Hamburg to Nuremberg, that I told you, one person moved from one place to another, but they had to pay taxes on 11 places and the tax rate of 5%. Now, another problem was there were different types, that are 30 types of currencies. And at each point, they had to change the currencies in Israel. If you like, we have the dollar. Okay, now dollar is, you can trade in dollar here in India also. You can trade in dollar in China also, anywhere in the world. Okay, so what happened last time? Then what was the problem? They had a different currency in every different place. Now it is a waste of paper here. We will not take your currency. It used to happen. So what happened? There used to be exchange centers in every point. So this is a big problem for for the traders. So because of this, the middle class, that is the liberal group, they came up with the custom union in 1834. Okay, so custom union we have studied, and this was formed in Zollverein. Okay, it was started by Prussia and many other German states joined later. So what happened in the customs union? The union abolished tariff barriers. Okay, now there was one person can move from one place to another. Okay, they reduced the number of currencies from 30 to only 2, and they promoted the network of railways. Okay, so the custom union, you have to study 1834 custom union, that was in Zollverein. Okay, now this led to the development of the liberal group. Okay, we are going to end the class in from here. I will continue in next class. Okay, it has become too much for you all to take in, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
So till now everybody understands? Hold
Yes,
on. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to send you on the resource voice app. On voice app, I'll send you the resource. So I'll send you this discussion, and I'll send you some MCQs also for you all to revise. Right?
yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Bye.
Okay,
Good
ma'am.
night.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.